Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Would you dress up as an actual killer?
Possibly.
Would you eat Art Krispies?
Nope.
Would you like to see a third Terrifier?
Absolutely.
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Happy Friday the 13th, and welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
It's only Friday the 13th for people that watch it today, if it's uploaded today, which, like...
It'll be live.
Or the people live streaming. But...
It will always have taken place
anyone
on Friday
watching
the
this
13th.
any other day, he's an idiot.
It will always have taken place on Friday the 13th.
Anyway...
You're welcome.
Welcome to Gory Storytime.
I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm his co-host and father, Craig. And this week... we're starting a series of 4 things. We just came off of our break from Christmas to New Year's. Took a couple weeks off. Last week we did our, looking into the future, the 2023 release schedule. Yep. Well, supposed to all have been 2023, but
yeah, well,
you know how
we'll see.
Right. This was supposed to be 2019, so we'll see, like you say. But the point is, we watched quite a few movies, and the next 4 are just going to be 4 movies that we watched during the break, and this is one of them. Actually, I think a couple of them were a little before it, but we didn't have a good spot for it.
All 4 of these are from last year.
Sure, but it's mostly from during the break is my point. Obviously, it's Terrifier 2. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch our episode where we review Terrifier. We definitely had a good time with that episode. We liked it.
We did indeed, didn't we?
But for the sequel, here's the basic premise. The clown from the first one, still killing people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a family, and there was some weird backstory with, like, the dad that had predicted... that his daughter had to wear a costume and kill Art the Clown, and it was like it was an excuse to have much more blood and gore.
It was a very, very much an excuse just art doing more art things.
They were trying to have a story, and the story in the first one was Art the Clown kills people, and that's basically the story in this too.
Yeah, with some, people thrown in.
Yeah, and their own little side missions. Yeah, what are you doing?
This chair keeps,
Anyway, that seems to be about all you really need to know. If you've watched the first one,
you're either in or you're not.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a sequel to that movie. Anything else you want to say before we show them the trailer so we can give them a little taste of what we're talking about? No?
No.
All right, roll that trailer then.
So, did you figure out what you're dressing up as tomorrow?
He wants to dress up as a real guy who murdered 9 people last year.
Oh, you're not doing that.
It's just a costume.
You think that guy's still out there?
What's up with you and this clown all of a sudden? You're obsessed.
They never found his body. What if he decides to come back here?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Wait a minute, aren't you that guy from the costume shop?
Sir, what are you doing?
It wasn't me.
He was covered in blood on his shirt and his hands when he got here.
I'm telling you, it was him, Allie. Right down to the little black dot on the tip of his nose.
really weird, you know that?
I believe him.
About what? Something really bad's gonna happen tonight.
No, I know when Jonathan's lying, okay? I could hear it in his voice. Something's wrong.
Look, we're gonna have fun. Stress-free environment.
Yep. Speaking of surprises, kids, we have a very special guest with us today. All the way from Miles County, please welcome Art the Clown.
Well, all right.
Yep.
I mean, so, again, if you've watched the first one, you're either in or out. I mean, you're either, like, psyched for this or you have no interest because of the first one. And there's not going to be...
And if you didn't see our episode, watch it. You could tell.
And, watch the first one before this one because you're just getting into a longer movie of more of the similar stuff. But anyway... before we get into our behind-the-scenes information about Terrifier 2, though, what we have to do is actually sell ourselves like the ladies of the night that we are.
Yes.
So what we do is we come on this show and we review movies. But that's basically just something to surround we sell products and get paid. We have to get people to watch so that then, anyway. And if you look at some of the view counts, obviously we're reaching,
rolling in the big bucks.
We're reaching tens of people. Hey, we've actually reached people that made the movie we reviewed once.
Yeah, and he apologized.
He did. That's actually true. Let's see. This week, the things that you can actually buy that really exist, that they pay us a ton of money for,
right? Yeah.
Are, let's see. Gory Story Time is brought to you by Berserk Laundry Detergent. Berserk can get out the toughest stains from all your clothes, from food spills and feces to blood and viscera. Berserk is the only brand that can remove it all. Berserk works better than the other name brands while slashing the costs to pieces.
And by All Offense Halloween costumes. While people try to keep Halloween more PC, All Offense Halloween costumes go completely the other way. Real-life serial killers, we got them. Stereotypical costumes that are not just cultural appropriation, but could even offend your grandpa who is stuck in his ways. All Offense Halloween costumes. Questions because...
What?
Questions... What?
No, that was supposed to be for, like, something happened.
Because when others say PC, we say F you.
There we go. Somehow it, like, combined that on the page, because that's
I've got
for the thing
questions.
under it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's weird.
That's...
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to discuss before we get into the meat and beef?
Go.
Yeah, definitely watch the first one. Watch our review of it. And then watch the second one and then come back because there's not a lot of spoilers in here, but just...
I mean, there's blood.
Yeah, right? You want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
Lauren Lavera is trained in martial arts, so she did most of her own stunts in the movie.
It was announced in June of 2020 that filming of Terrifier 2 began in October of 2019 and was almost complete when everything started with the quarantine. Yep. So they had to go back and finish it after.
Stephen King gave it a shout-out on Twitter saying, Terrifier 2 grossing you out old school.
Yep.
And he's not wrong.
Writer-director Damien Leone stated on Instagram that Sienna is a character he has been trying to get from page to screen for over a decade. He said, quote, "She is my favorite character I have ever written, And seeing Lauren Rivera breathe life into her has been a dream come true that I will cherish always. I cannot wait for all of you Terrifier fans to see her in action. I promise you won't be disappointed. He adds that Rivera was born to play Sienna.
Director Damien Leone stated in an interview with Bloody Disgusting's podcast, The Boo Crew, that actor David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown, was very active in writing Art's character. Thornton stated that him and Leone brainstormed a lot of the kills together and even took the COVID-19 pandemic as an opportunity to expand upon pre-existing kills in the film.
David Howard Thornton did have a speaking role, too. He is the voiceover for Art Crispy's cereal commercial that happens during the dream sequence.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. The scene shot in the Terrifier haunted house was filmed in a real haunted house called Fright Factory in Philadelphia. They didn't need to build any sets for those scenes. They just used what was already available to them from the haunted house. That's awesome.
Yeah. In a recent interview with Astronomicon, Terrifier writer and director Damien Leone talked about the future of Terrifier 2 in a post-coronavirus landscape and even floated the idea of releasing the film roadshow style, like Kevin Smith did with Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And thought about doing with Clerks. I didn't think he did a little, but...
This movie is almost an hour longer than its predecessor, 57 minutes longer. Terrifier was 1 hour and 21 minutes long, and Terrifier 2 is 2 hours and 18 minutes long. The uncut version is even longer. That's what we got to get our hands on.
Art's face makeup is similar to Marcel Marceau, the legendary mime, who survived the Nazi occupation and saved many children in World War II. He was regarded for his peerless style pantomime, moving audiences without uttering a single word, and was known to the world as the master of silence. Quite a difference from Art in the films.
Yeah. The fictional Miles County is located reasonably close to New York City. The costume shop Sienna and Alley go to is located in New York City, as shown on the costume shop bag, Abracadabra NYC. The local news also discusses a parade being held in New York City.
The movie was reportedly so violent and gory that people had been vomiting and fainting inside movie theaters. Some instances even had ambulances called. By the way,
why am I going to the lame theaters where none of this cool stuff's happening?
Well, because we go to even lamer theaters that won't carry things like Terrifier 2.
That's true. While it was originally only going to get a limited theatrical release for one weekend, the movie grew into a massive success. It broke the top 10 at the box office on multiple weekends. Its theatrical run lasted well past Halloween and domestically grossed over $10 million on a $250,000 budget. That is
why there's already a third one.
Winner.
That's why there's already a third one being worked on. Although released in 2022, it takes place in 2018 because the events of the first one were 2017 and this was 1 year later.
Yeah.
Right.
David Howard Thornton was disgusted when he had to pull the innards out of the bodies of the victims. He said they were cold, slimy, and gross.
This seems like a bad part for him if that's... During the Halloween party scene towards the end, one of the party goers is wearing a Moobies uniform from the View Askew movies by Kevin Smith.
I did not notice that, but I like that. When Brooke's boyfriend Jeff first appears at the Halloween costume, he arrives wearing a ghost...
Halloween party. He doesn't appear at a costume.
He arrives wearing a ghost costume made of a white bedsheet with a pair of glasses, a direct reference to the original Halloween.
It's true. References are made to the Zodiac Killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, and Charles Manson.
The noise we hear as Jonathan approaches the truck is AM radio static. This would be caused by someone actively changing the station, hence why we hear snippets of dialogue. The sound itself suggests a manual tuner rather than the digital type found in vehicles today.
Mm-hmm. And while the film's effects are 99% practical, director Leone stated that he did use digital effects on a couple of scenes. When Ricky, the costume shop worker, gets killed, he had the actor's face, who plays Ricky, digitally put onto a fake head. This was done to show the eyeball opening and closing. The other kill, where digital effects were used, was in the now infamous bedroom kill scene. Leone digitally puts the actress's real eyeball on the dummy, so when she wakes up, the eye opens.
I see. And Rotten Tomatoes is a website. And they collect a whole lot of different people's opinions on movies and tell you how many of those opinions in a percentage were positive.
Yes. And I know I say this every time, but I hate when people are like, oh, Rotten Tomatoes said that my movie was... Because I hear actors say that. It's like, they didn't say your movie was anything. The general consensus is your movie is whatever you're about to say. Like, if it's 20%, that's because 80% of the people didn't care for it. What are you going to do? But these being horror movies, like, they usually get lower scores.
They usually do.
So what do the critics think about this?
Critics have this at an 86% approval rating.
Which is way better than any president in my lifetime?
Well, yeah.
Because even the people that are like, yeah, I'm glad this person won or that person won, at some point goes,
I don't like that.
Right. And they also let the people that go on the website vote, and the people have it at 80%, which is weird because they're usually higher when it comes to horror or comedy. Yes. And there's no real like special political message or anything to make the reviewers like it better. So there must be just less people that reviewed it that are opposed to horror.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's one thing. That's one of the reasons we actually started the show for real, is I was so sick of all these professional reviewers, these professional critics that would come out and say, oh, this is crap because they don't like a type of movie. I don't like a lot of like dramas that are,
So you're not going to be the guy who I go to hear that opinion.
Right. If you like dramas, I'm not going to review them because I'm not going to be fair. If you're a food critic and you hate Chinese food, then
you're not the guy to go to the Chinese
Italian
buffets.
restaurant, but leave the Chinese food places alone because your opinion is moot at that point because no matter how good it is, you're not going to like it. Like, I feel that way about this. We love horror movies. So, of course, if we say one's bad, then you should listen to us because we're smarter than you.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Now that it's been put that way.
All right. What was because I know you like this movie, so we try to go the opposite. What was your least favorite thing? To make it harder.
So, it is very nitpicky for me because it's the part of the movie that makes it a plot. Because I'm in for Art the Clown doing Art the Clown stuff and killing people and being all gross and hurting those people and being disgusting.
Yeah.
All in. All that dry family lame story where they were talking to each other and being boring. But even some of that was good. So
like the kid with finding the dead animal and.
But I don't know. For the most part, I don't need all that storytelling. Not
but
in
if you
this.
go back and watch our first one, we did say that it had just the right amount of no real story.
Right. This had
a little
too much.
Yeah. For what it is.
For what it is, have less story, more blood.
Anyway, I think that
Replace that dialogue with stabbing, please.
My least favorite part is the length. It's over
short.
2 hours. No, it's over 2 hours, and the first one was just under an hour and a half, and that was a little too short. This one was, you could probably cut a half hour of this and have a much sleeker, better movie. They spent, 15 minutes on that dream sequence, and it was kind of bleh.
Yeah, towards the end, it was okay, I get it.
It's like,
we're still dreaming, aren't we?
It's like, can we go further in the story and not do this part?
Sure.
And again, I liked it, and a lot of it was excuses to just have more brutal kills, which I don't mind. It's just, save something for 3, because if 3 is the Avengers of Terrifier movies, where it's going to be, 3.5 hours
Snyder
long.
Cut, Dad.
It's the Snyder Cut.
4.5 hours, and it's just going to be the blood.
No, that's the problem. They're going to have 12 backstories, and you're going to hate them all. Because you cut out a lot of that, and guess what? You got a pretty sleek movie.
Heck yeah.
See?
All we need is the Justice League version. The
I would say the
Whedon
main.
cut.
If I had to pick one scene that could have been cut, you could cut that like 10 minutes of dream sequence with the kids show / commercial / serial thing. You could probably cut that down to like 3 minutes and be a lot better.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I think that would speed up that slowed the movie down for me. So if I had to pick one scene to do that with, to cut out a chunk of time, that's the one I would go with. Now, what was your favorite scene?
All right, so I think people have been referring to it as the bedroom scene. All right, but he just goes ham on this lady, cuts her arm in half, cuts one of her arms off, blood, and then she's like crawling to get away from him, and he runs out to another room, and he comes back with a bottle of bleach and a big thing of salt and just starts pouring it on her.
You're not supposed to be laughing right now.
That
Wow.
was so good.
And for those who know about our other show, this is his sober week.
I was so happy.
Just
I'm
throwing
like-
it out there.
I was just as happy as Art was in the scene.
All right. I'm going to say my favorite thing probably was more the addition of that creepy little girl.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, it was interesting because at first we're like, who is this and what? And
Like,
wait,
she
and then
happens to be at the same
then when they
laundromat as him.
revealed that it was like,
In his head.
yeah, and only he could see her, it's like, except then later on,
Sometimes,
other
no.
people could see her, but yeah, she was a real figment of his imagination.
I mean, when he decided to have her be there, he had her be there.
Sure. So I would say that was, I liked that addition. I thought that was creepy and cool.
Yeah.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10.
So if I'm remembering correctly, I rated the first one a 10 out of 10.
Because, and did I too?
I think we both, I
I
think we
think I
were
might
together
have.
on that one.
If not, it was like 10 out of 10 and 9 out of 10 or something like that. But I think, because it was literally like, and I'll say this again, it was the perfect 80s horror movie made in 2012.
And this is the perfect late 80s, early 90s horror movie sequel to that first one.
where they're trying to add a little bit of plot and a little
And
backstory
and
to
it's
explain
building
it.
towards maybe there's going to be a confrontation in the third or fourth one. Maybe it's going to go on forever, and 40 years later we're going to get a reboot that's only a sequel to the first one. All right, you never know.
Oh, I would hate that, but go ahead.
But I think that it's not quite as good as the first one, so I'm giving it a 9.
Okay, I'm gonna give it probably. I'm gonna go 8. I liked it a little less than you, but I really did like it.
That one scene makes it for me.
The thing was, like, if you remember, we watched it halfway one night, and it was so long that we had to stop it because it was like, I'm tired. And we had to come back to it the next day. And I don't like movies that are so long that I feel like I can't watch them from beginning to end. Which is why he hasn't got me to watch the Snyder Cut, by the way.
Oh my goodness. I tried again earlier.
Yeah, see. He's like, I got time to waste. Dad's in there trying to take a nap.
Exactly.
Anyway, anything else that you want to
Yeah,
say
there's
before?
all those things on the side
Yes,
of the
I meant, is there
screen.
anything before that you want to, like, spit out? No?
Go watch both of these movies, and if you've already seen them, go watch them again.
And if you like this show, share it. No.
Smash that like button and subscribe with all your friends.
Anywho.
So there's all that stuff, yeah. You can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1076 Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook. And like I say every week, by like us, I mean like Gory Storytime. There's a page. I keep forgetting to update it every week, and I need to do that.
Me too.
And you can also like Fact TV. And if you like Fact TV, you get a lot of things live streamed like this.
Nice.
Like local things, things that happen locally in town management and stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a lot of there's a lot of people that come in and do shows in here, what I mean?
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
You can go to factaid.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this and a bunch of
those other shows.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Firmbrain. I only tweet things that I find amusing that he says in or out of context, usually out of context, usually to make him sound as bad as possible.
And he hasn't posted in a little bit because his phone needs to be paid.
Yes, I'm a poor person. I mean, no, we make rakes and rakes of money or whatever. Trucks of money. I've got trucks of money and can't keep my phone on.
And also, check out, Google, or not Google, go onto like YouTube and type in Gory Storytime, and 2 things should come up. My page, Gory Storytime. Like, subscribe, smash all the notifications and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
Comment, share, show your friends.
Tweet
same
it to
with
actors and stuff.
The other thing that'll come up is Fact TV's page, which also has some episodes of this show. It's got a bunch of episodes of other shows. Like and subscribe to
of
them.
Of all the directors to get in touch with, you know how cool it would be to get an email from Damien Leone?
It would be pretty
Tag
sweet.
him.
Yeah. Tag him. Yeah, absolutely. But that's about it, right?
Yeah. So until next time, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig.
And
Sweet dreams.